From the town of Bedrock, Fred and Wilma Flintstone, their daughter Pebbles, their neighbors the Rubbles, and their friends, co-workers, and dino appliances are a page right out of history, specifically our own confusing and alienating era. Welcome everybody to another exciting episode, another edition of A Week in Geekdom here on YouTube. And today I have a very special video because it is about one of the best books of 2016. And it is, of course, The Flintstones from the new reboot Hanna-Barbera comics we previously reviewed here on this channel. Future Quest and Scooby Apocalypse. Now it's time for The Flintstones, and this is one of the best books I've read so far in this year. And yeah, heavily underrated series. Everybody that read it said basically the same thing. It is one of the best comics out there, but it just flew under the radar for a lot of people simply because of the nature of the title. You see, oh, there's a Flintstones comic book. I've talked to some people and I've mentioned the fact that there is a Flintstones reboot comic, if you will, which is a little bit more darker, more cynical, actually really funnier, with great social commentary, great art, and just really heartwarmingly fun. And people are like, so yeah, that's the stuff for kids, right? I'm like, no, it isn't. I'll explain. The one thing that every reviewer will tell you, the sharp, cynical, and sarcastic tone of this book is so freaking on point. If you don't like that type of humor, this may not be the book for you, but I urge you to try it because it isn't as bad as it seems. I'm not a hugely cynical, sarcastic person. I laughed and I enjoyed the hell out of this book. Basically, it's the same premise as the TV show, which was so innovative and so fun and so creative back in the 60s. You know, it broke the mold, if you will. Here is a cartoon that kids will love and enjoy and adults can appreciate as well. That first started with the Flintstones back in the 60s and is prevalent and as relevant, I should say, in today's society. Now, the Flintstones, they live in the town of Bedrock. You know all these characters: Fred, Wilma, Betty, Barney, Bam Bam, Pebbles, and the list just goes on and on. And in the best sense of the word, you know all of these characters. It is a highly entertaining read that doesn't require you to know anything about these characters. Obviously, if you know about the show, then you are going to love this comic book even more, as you're trying to put the pieces together and how the characters relate to each other and how they come to know each other like you know them from the show. And overall, man, it's just a great book that really explores the dynamics of ancient society and how it relates to our modern times. And over the course of 6 issues, it's actually 12 or so, but the first trade only has the first 6 issues. Over the course of these stories, you come to realize the singular fact that as a human species, we haven't really progressed that much when it comes to our behavior, violence, consumerism, religion, all that stuff. The art, and I hope I'm saying this right, by Steve Pugh, it's just fantastic. And I was really taken aback. I didn't know if I wasn't gonna like the art going in, because the Flintstones look from the animated show is such an emblematic look. It's a style that everybody knows and loves, that I was a little bit hesitant. I didn't know, but Steve just kills it panel after panel. Everybody just looks so pretty, so cool, and it looks like you're right there at Bedrock, like it's a real place where you can go and visit. And that's how crazy it is. It has such a great attention to detail. The stores are all hilarious with their names and spoofs of stuff like Starbucks and Home Depot and stores like that. It's really quite an experience to figure out, like, oh, so this character goes here and he's gonna do this, and then this famous character shows up, like for example, Dino shows up, and you want to know how he fits into the whole family, and the way they go about it is such a cute and awesome way. And same with all the rest of the characters that I'm not going to spoil, simply because it's fun. It's more fun if you figure out for yourselves than me just talking about it on this video. All the social commentary is really important in today's society, because let's face it, as a species, for some reason, we have degraded to the point where in 2017, we can no longer have discussions without everybody throwing tantrums, cursing each other out, fighting, and just being huge freaking assholes. Now, the idea of a dialogue is lost nowadays, and this book is not as preachy as some of you would like to say. It's actually quite smart, quite funny, and at the same time brings a positive message while reflecting of the nature of these characters living in Bedrock with their social issues and how they relate to our society. I think Mark Russell did a fantastic job writing this book, did a commendable job of presenting all of these ideas in a way where the reader doesn't feel like you're being suffocated. And the one singular issue that I'm going to point out is the marriage issue, which I think was issue 4, where the characters in Bedrock and all the cavemen and citizens of Bedrock are questioning why people are getting married, and it goes against traditional values. And I'm gonna read a quote from one of the characters in the book, which I thought was simply spectacular and really speaks volumes to the whole issue and how it relates to today with same-sex marriage and all that stuff. They're watching TV, and I don't even know how TV works in Bedrock. I don't want to figure that out. But the anchors are talking about it, and the female anchor says, what do you think about marriage, Rock? Rock is the TV host. Rock says, I think it's an immoral threat to our way of life. Really? What do you say that? Because it wasn't around when I was a kid. Think about that for a second. I'm not trying to start some flame war and people start commenting down below with hateful comments and all that stuff. I just want you to think about it for a minute. We live in a society where things are changing constantly, and if things don't change, if the machine stops, everything just breaks down. And I know it might go against your values and such, but you gotta let things flow in a natural way. I am a firm believer that everybody deserves a shot at living life as best as they can without hurting anybody. And really, the universal power, the thing that connects humanity as a whole, is love, and love is the most important thing that we can have. And one of my other favorite scenes from this comic is actually from Wilma, and she's talking to Fred about the meaning of their relationship and love and all that stuff. Fred is asking her, you know, what truly makes you happy then? Because they're questioning about, do we need to get material things to fill the void and to bond even closer as a couple or friends or whatever. And she just says, human beings are just walking accumulations of love and regret. The only thing that ever made me happy is being next to someone who loves me. That is a pretty damn powerful statement by Mark Russell, and I agree wholeheartedly. Just love, like I mentioned, is the universal lubricant, if you will. It just makes things better for everybody. There should be less hate and more bonding, in my opinion. That's as deep as I'm gonna go with the whole social issues of today's society. But yeah, the book touches on all of that stuff, from science, religion. I love their take on consumerism and just the fact that, hey, they've invented all this new stuff that we call crap. And who knew that we needed crap in our lives to fill the emptiness of our souls? Stuff like that. There's this character, the scientist, which is a spoof on Sagan. He's just hilarious. I love that character. He's funny as hell. And the way that he's basically trying to teach all these kids and everybody how the universe works and how the universe is lonely. Just great stuff overall. A really fantastic book with amazing artwork. It's just spectacular right there. And at first it's pretty jarring because you're so used to the TV show, so you don't expect this book to look the way it does, but it works so well. It is that perfect blend of the old Hanna-Barbera goodness, but with the modern sensibilities of 21st century comic book drawing. I can't not believe this book isn't getting even more hype, because it really deserves it. They really did an amazing job of presenting a reboot that is both funny for I would say teenagers, and just brilliant and sarcastically awesome for adults and older readers, if you will. It could go on and talk about all the little nuances and how they perfectly encapsulated the relationship of these families, and how Mark is doing this great rant on how we live our lives in the 21st century. After so many millions of years, society functions in a very specific way, and the book just reinforces that and makes you think a little bit. It makes you laugh, but it makes you think about where we're headed and what we are as a species, if you will. That's what I think. So if you like that sort of stuff, if you like to feed your brain with some awesomeness and some great art and just overall great material, writing material, then by all means and purposes, you should get the Flintstones comic book. Guys, as always, you can follow me on your favorite social media platform, from Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and many more. Just type a Week in Geekdom and I'm there for you guys. Alright, I gotta go. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you know when new videos are coming up. And let me know down below what you thought of the Flintstones. I haven't read past issue 6 because I'm waiting for that second trade, but I'm really curious to know what you guys think of the Flintstones comic book. Alright, that's it for me. I gotta go. I will catch you on our next video. Look, here's a little speed run right there. Yep.